W-I-N. For the second time in this 10-game win streak, the sky apparently not falling in Philadelphia. The Birds instead flying high with a statement win over the Steelers. Back in studio with the Mac Man himself, the Steeler himself, and we'll get there on the Eagles and Lions, but first let's take a look at that NFC playoff picture. Big time win here from the Birds, who now have that same record as the Lions following the Lions' second loss of the season by way of the tiebreaker. It is still a 1 seed in the hand of Detroit. Some other big movement here as well with the Seahawks' loss on Sunday night. They drop all the way from that 4 seed out of the playoff picture. Now the Rams, by way of tiebreaker, your 4 seed and in line for an NFC West divisional title. Those two again will meet in Week 18. But let's start our conversation at the top of the NFC playoff picture. Sir. Lions and Eagles right now. We've sort of been dancing around the topic the last few weeks about the inefficiencies defensively and some of the attrition that the Lions have dealt with. The Eagles right now, in your eyes, a more complete package when you're looking forward? Yeah, in totality as a team, Joe, I would say the Eagles, they're more complete because they're healthier on the defensive side. No question, we have applauded Aaron Glenn and his entire defensive staff in being able to do more with less in terms of so many backups being called to play significant time because of key injuries, the key starters. But at some point in time, those injuries will catch up to you. And we saw that flourish before our eyes against a playoff caliber team, a high-level quarterback in the Buffalo Bills. But when you turn your attention to the Philadelphia Eagles, their defense, they've gotten better, they're healthier, and they're playing consistent, efficient football, and they're not allowing any splash opportunities from opposing offenses. And then when you look at their offense in the Philadelphia Eagles, they're the epitome of balance. They can run the football. And don't forget about Jalen Hurts, a guy who's been unfairly criticized, in my opinion. He is a legit QB1 still, and he can still throw it around the yard when need be. But their offense has been more predicated on the running game because Saquon Barkley has been unstoppable. So when you pair what Jalen Hurts could give you, along with throwing the football to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that offense can do numbers in many different ways. So Sunday, a little bit more what you're looking for, in striking a balance there offensively, run to pass? And my opinion, and when you look at Detroit, I was a bit surprised to see the lack of balance because they did not run the football well. David Montgomery did not get going. It was almost like they wanted to have an arms race of quarterbacks with their quarterback in Jared Goff going against Josh Allen. You don't want to have that type of race because Josh Allen is like the Usain Bolt in terms of sprinters, runners. He can go at any given rate at any given time and win races with that said style. For Detroit, you have to get back to the attrition of what you've been. Running the football, allowing the run to set up the throw. Hopefully they can understand and look at that tape and see what they did wrong to get back to being the Detroit Lions that we've raved about over the entirety of the season. Dan Campbell said as much postgame, said, we got away from the run and we thought that was going to be the biggest part of the game plan on this day. You play from a chase game script and you end up throwing the ball as much as they did. Jalen Hurts said postgame, is that what you guys want to see? They gave everybody a little taste of what they could be down the stretch. I'm glad you brought up the Lions there and what they are currently at the top of the conference, but also relative to that division. You have 3 very good football teams there in the Vikings, the Lions, and the Green Bay Packers in no particular order. Going to take a look at their upcoming schedules down the stretch here. I'm not here to suggest that this is a division up for grabs, but it could be in many ways a division up for grabs if the Vikings pull off a victory on Monday night. They sit there right there at 12-2 as well. The Packers going to be a problem for whoever they're traveling to, likely as a wild card team in the playoffs. But you look at the road ahead right now for Detroit and Minnesota specifically. What are you looking at more specifically? Well, I think Minnesota, they had the more difficult task than Detroit because you look at that Green Bay Packer game. Yes, they get Green Bay at home, but the Packers are playing some really, really good football. And you would believe they would love to play spoiler. Now, for Detroit, because of what happened today, you've made this conversation extremely intense. You got to go to Chicago. Even going to San Francisco, we don't know exactly what their personnel will look like, but when healthy, they have talent. So we're in a very unfamiliar spot right now, Joe, because it felt like the Detroit Lions had a hold on this division for the entirety of the season. Hook, line, and sinker, 1 seed. Facts. But now, because of what happened against the Buffalo Bills, the window is open for every other team not named Chicago
in the division, especially the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently sitting with the same amount of losses as the Detroit Lions. So me personally, you still feel like Detroit should be able to win this division, but anything can really happen now. Especially to your point, if Minnesota take care of their business against Chicago, and then of course finish the rest of the season out in the winning column.
So much to still sort here with 3 weeks to play, and that's how we love it.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out who's who and what's what to the very last drop, and we'll get a better look here at all of these teams a couple more times. I'm looking squarely at the Commanders right now because we always have our eye on that final seed, the 7th seed and all who give chase, those in the hunt per se. When you look at those in the hunt right now in the NFC, Mac, do you see a team that outclasses the Commanders, or still, despite some of their inefficiencies and trying to put games away, is that the team you expect to be at the 7th seed?
Well, maybe Arizona. You know, when they're running the offense through James Conner, they can be a competitive team.
Yep, right there at 7-7.
I don't trust the Atlanta Falcons. I don't trust Seattle, especially not knowing the status of the quarterback in Geno Smith. And, you know, for the 49ers, they need a lot of help. They have 3 more losses than the Commanders.
Yeah.
So I think it's solely
looking at the Cardinals.
It's solely about the Cardinals, in my opinion, who actually have 2 more losses than the Commanders. So the Cardinals need help. And they also have to win ball games. So if you're the Commanders, winning today was huge. Because if they lost today, they're 8-6. And even with some uncertainty with the teams that are on the outside looking in, those teams still will have a really good shot in you know, surpassing the Commanders.
A 2-point conversion.
Facts.
A 2-point conversion.
Which was the great, I like the decision. I just didn't like the call by the New Orleans Saints. I hate sprint out passes and 2-point plays.
What do you want to see? Little rub concept?
You condense the field.
Yeah.
You minimize the field. And if I'm a defender, I know where you're going. Look at Sinistrell. He
broke hard on it, yeah.
Yeah, he left his wide receiver because he knew exactly where the read was. That was a 1-read play in a 2-point winnable opportunity.
Yeah.
Any quarterback, if you had to give them the option, would you want to have multiple reads?
Well, that's just
one?
It. Maybe in an effort to make it a little cleaner for Spencer Rattler to see, they made it a little more difficult in giving him that lone read left side.
They made it cleaner and easier for the Commanders.
Was a look coming on that back line, running that back line of the end zone, but in the end, an incomplete pass and a big win for the Commanders as they hold on to that 7 seed. For now, we'll see if anyone can give chase.
Eagles Nest News. React. Eagles make a statement with dominant win over Steelers. Hello, Eagles Nation. Welcome back to Eagles Nest News. Today, we're diving deep into the Philadelphia Eagles' incredible performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers as they continue their impressive 10-game win streak. After another dominant win, it's clear that the Eagles are sending a strong message to the entire NFL. They are Super Bowl contenders, and the NFC should take notice. Let's break it all down. A statement win for the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have been flying high this season, and their victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers only solidifies that. With a statement performance on both sides of the ball, the Eagles have proven they're a complete, well-rounded team ready to make a run for the Super Bowl. But as we know, it's not just about one game. It's about consistency, execution, and leadership. This game against the Steelers was a test of all those elements, and the Eagles passed with flying colors. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the Eagles' win, why they're now in a great position for a deep playoff run, and how they stack up against the NFC competition, especially the Detroit Lions, who are also eyeing that coveted top spot in the NFC. A complete team performance. The Eagles' defense was outstanding in this game, continuing to improve each week and showing they are among the league's elite. Philly has dealt with injuries in the past, but their defense has held strong. Now, with a healthier roster, the defense is hitting its stride, and they shut down the Steelers' offense with ease. Against a playoff-caliber team like Pittsburgh, the Eagles allowed just 163 yards of total offense. That's dominance. And that's the kind of defense that wins championships. The defensive line, led by standout players like Jalen Carter, is wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. But what's more impressive is how they shut down the Steelers' rushing attack, forcing Pittsburgh to become one-dimensional. This game was a perfect example of how the Eagles' defense can adapt, dominate, and control the tempo of the game. They played with discipline, never giving up big plays, and allowing their offense to take control. Speaking of the offense, let's talk about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Hurts was efficient, calm under pressure, and made plays with both his arm and his legs. Despite some early criticism, Hurts continues to show why he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. On Sunday, he spread the ball around beautifully, hitting key targets like A.J. Brown, who had another standout game, hauling in 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. The connection between Hurts and Brown is growing stronger with each passing week, and it's clear this duo is a big reason why the Eagles are one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. And let's not forget about the balance on offense. The Eagles ran the ball effectively with the dynamic duo of Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown helping to open up the passing game. When your offense is as balanced as Philadelphia's, it keeps defenses on their toes. Whether it's pounding the ball with the running game or striking through the air with Hurts' accurate throws, the Eagles can attack you in so many ways. That's the definition of an elite offense. But the thing that sets the Eagles apart this season is their ability to maintain control of the game. Even when the Steelers tried to make a push in the second half, the Eagles held the ball for 24 out of the 30 minutes in the final 2 quarters. They executed a 21-play, 88-yard drive that ended with a kneel down to seal the victory. That's how you win football games. You control the clock, control the tempo, and don't let your opponent get a chance to make a comeback. Comparing the Eagles to the Lions. The NFC race. Heats up. Now, let's talk about the NFC. The Detroit Lions have had an impressive season, but their recent loss to the Buffalo Bills shows that they are not without weaknesses. The Lions have been dealing with a lot of injuries, particularly on defense, and it's starting to catch up to them. Their offense is still explosive, but they've become a bit too reliant on the passing game. When teams like the Buffalo Bills can stop the run and put pressure on Jared Goff, the Lions' offense tends to struggle. This is where the Eagles stand out. They are healthier on defense and playing much more consistently. They can stop the run and defend against the pass, giving them a well-rounded edge over a team like Detroit. While the Lions are still a strong team, the Eagles are the more complete package right now. They've proven that they can win games in multiple ways, and that versatility makes them a more dangerous opponent come playoff time. With a 10-game win streak, the Eagles now have the inside track to a top playoff seed in the NFC. They have one of the best records in the league, and with their current form, it's hard to imagine any NFC team being able to stop them. Whether it's their dominant defense, their high-powered offense, or their ability to control the game, the Eagles are built for a deep playoff run. Eagles are ready for the Super Bowl. As we close out this analysis, one thing is clear. The Philadelphia Eagles are a team to be reckoned with. They've been dominant all season, and their win over the Steelers only reaffirms that they are one of the top contenders for the NFC and the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is playing at an MVP level, A.J. Brown is an elite receiver, and the defense is firing on all cylinders. With a 10-game win streak and a complete team, the Eagles have all the tools they need to make a serious Super Bowl run. They've got the balance, the depth, and the leadership to go all the way this season. As we look ahead, the Eagles have a favorable path to the Super Bowl, especially with teams like the Lions dealing with injuries. The NFC is still wide open, but right now, Philly is the team to beat. What do you think, Eagles Nation? Do you believe the Eagles are Super Bowl bound? Can anyone in the NFC challenge them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this discussion going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss any updates here at Eagles Nest News. We're going all the way to the Super Bowl this year, and we want you to be part of the journey. Fly, Eagles, fly.